So recently I saw somebody say that Charlie Kirk got what he thought other people deserved. And that really made me just stop and think for a moment. And it made me realize, we don't have the ability to speak about what we think anymore. Not really. Think about it. If he got shot down for saying his beliefs, then that means anybody could. I could. Your friends could. We all could. Political violence has never been okay. It's been seen throughout the entirety of history, just in multiple different forms. JFK, Martin Luther King, those are some very prominent examples in our history. But he has said some stuff that basically everything that's came out of his mouth, I do not agree with. But the one thing that got me so angry, and this is just from the internet as a whole, the same day Charlie Kirk was shot, a school was shot up in Colorado. People would rather talk about the fascists that they agree with than talk about innocent kids' lives being taken and paying their condolences to the kids and the families. I understand that Charlie Kirk was shot in front of his kids, and I'm very sorry about that. It is horrible. But him advocating and saying that if kids being shot up in schools is what it takes to keep the gun rule and the gun law in our country, I don't feel bad for him. I feel bad for his family. What he has said in the past is terrible. And it just shows it reflects his character and how he really is. I do not like him. I did not agree with him. But he certainly did not deserve to be gunned down like that. But he also should not have been saying what he was saying. And the fact that half of the internet, or mainly all of the internet, was only talking about him and not those kids, and pointing the fingers at anybody on the left side, pointing their fingers at anybody on the left side, when in all actuality it was a Republican, it makes me question what the future is going to be like. If I cannot speak my mind, and if nobody else can either, we are actually going to start living in a 1984 adaptation. We're going to be interrogated by thought police. That's literally how it feels. I live in a small town. Population of 9,000? I don't know. But it's small enough to the point where there's only one high school. In the whole town, there's just one high school and one middle school and 4 elementary schools. That's it. Nothing else. And during that last year was freshman year for me, there were 3 school shooting scares at my school. The first one, they caught the guy because he was posting pictures of guns and saying he was going to show up to school tomorrow with them. They dealt with him before he got to school. Second time, it was a junior or senior hitting on freshman girls and threatening to bring guns to school and knives to school. The third one was by far the most surreal experience. There was somebody walking around town with a gun, and they happened to get close to the campus. And we were in the cafeteria at the time. And the layout of the school is that the cafeteria is surrounded by windows, so you can see anybody who walks outside. And so in the middle of lunch, they called in lockdown. And so we all scurried away, and all of us were trying to get to classes. They didn't care which classes you went into. It was that urgent. They just wanted you to go into a random class and hide. And so I hid with my boyfriend in a tech lab, along with a few other friends. And I was shaking, and I was scared. Some people weren't scared. Some people were actually, joking and making memes, because Gen Z is the unserious generation. But I was scared. There were police yelling outside, and I think there was static from their talkies. And I think that's what made it more surreal for me, because there were actual people patrolling the school for somebody who may or may not have been in there. And so I called my mom, texted my mom, both on my phone and on my boyfriend's phone. I would not stop texting my mom because I was terrified. And the lockdown lasted for an hour out of the day, maybe 45 minutes to an hour. But it was still scary. I was still terrified because I didn't know what to do. And nobody else did either. We were all just huddled in the dark of a classroom, waiting for it all to be over. And God forbid somebody were to bang on the door or do something that would set us all off and start screaming. I don't know. But thank God nothing happened. And that is why I am terrified of people like Charlie Kirk getting any political power. I'm terrified of people who want to take rights from women. And I'm terrified that people will be indoctrinated into that ideology. So I don't feel bad for him, but I do feel bad for his family. And that is my opinion on the Charlie Kirk situation. I don't know how else to feel about it, because when I heard about it, it was from my friend who also didn't like Charlie Kirk. Like I said, I only feel bad for his family. It was just so shocking to me that happened. It was quick, I did not expect him to be shot. I heard about it and I was just staring into a blank for a second, not knowing how to feel. And my friend, he showed me the video of him getting shot, and I saw everything. But I was really scared that we were going to go into a civil war over this, because it's not going to be the older generations fighting it. It's going to be the younger ones. It's going to be us that's going to have to deal with it if that outcome comes into fruition. I don't want America turning into an empire, because that's how it feels. It does not feel like a republic or a democracy or a combination of the two. It feels like America is going to become an empire, and it is going to fall.